Welcome back to Sophie and Sebastian. In this episode, Sophie decides that she needs a haircut, and she knows just the person to do it. This story is called A Work of Art. Sophie loved scissors. Snip, 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 the scissors went. Long strips of paper fell to the floor. Sophie loved the way the blades would glide along, like someone skating over a sheet of snow-covered ice. She had no idea yet what she was making. She just enjoyed cutting. She was also busy listening to Mum talking on the phone. It takes a lot of concentration to understand a conversation when you only hear one side of it. Sophie could tell a lot about the person on the other side just by how often Mum said yes or no. Sophie loved to imitate Mum. Yes, yes. No. Right. That's so cute. No, no. Yes. Wow. No kidding. Sophie guessed that today Mum was talking to Auntie Elisa. They phoned each other about once a week, and it was always a lengthy conversation. How can you have that much to talk about? Sophie would ask. You just talked to her the other day. It's not like anything amazing has happened. We're all still here. But Mum would just ignore her. When Mum talked to Auntie Elisa, you could tell just by looking at her. She was smiling and laughing, and her face was aglow with happiness. She would prop the phone in the crook of her neck so that she could have her hands free to wash the dishes or put the binding on a quilt. But her eyes didn't see anything, and her mind was far away. "And how is Zachary?" Mum said. "And how is Zachary?" Sophie repeated. "And how am I? What about me?" "Yes," said Mum, "Sophie is doing fine." Sophie stopped cutting for a moment. Mum continued, "She loves to visit our neighbors. Yes, they're quite old, but they love seeing our children play." Mum looked at Sophie. "I think," she said, I think I should give her a haircut, though. She's starting to look like a ragamuffin." This was news to Sophie. She curled a lock of hair around her finger. Mum said, "I just haven't found the time." "You would have time," said Sophie, "if you didn't talk to Auntie Elisa so much." "Sorry," said Mum. "That was Sophie talking. I'm not sure what she said, but she's happily crafting away. She's making a royal mess, but it keeps her busy." "Busy? Busy?" muttered Sophie. "I'm not just being busy. I'm an artist. I make beautiful things." Mum didn't hear her. Then Sophie had an idea. If Mum didn't use her time wisely, then she would. She went off to find Sebastian. It wasn't hard to find him. Sebastian was building a castle from Lego. "Look at my castle," said Sebastian. "It's gonna be awesome. I'm making it so. So what?" said Sophie. "Just spit it out." "Hey, you're interrupting. I wasn't done. I'm making it so big?" asked Sophie. "No," said Sebastian. "What I wanted to say is that my castle is going to be really awesome? No, really high." "Why didn't you just say that then?" Sebastian shrugged. "It's not the same," he said. "You have to say it the right way." "Well, who cares about the right way? I need your help. We have to do something for Mum. You have to help me cut my hair." Sebastian's eyes lit up. "With the scissors?" he asked. "Of course," said Sophie. "How else would you cut it?" "Well, you could get a really big machine, like a lawnmower maybe." "No thanks," said Sophie. Sebastian laughed. "What if," he said, "you got a really big lawnmower that was so big that you could cut everybody's hair at the same time?" "And chop all their heads off? No thanks," said Sophie. "Now come along." They went to the bathroom, where Sophie stood in front of the mirror and Sebastian stood on the toilet. Sophie said, Now you have to say, how would you like your hair? How would you like your hair? Said Sebastian. Short and sweet, said Sophie. Okay, said Sebastian. He held up a strand of hair and raised the scissors. Just go for it, said Sophie. Don't be shy. Sebastian snipped off the ends of the lock of hair. A few hairs fell gently to the floor. Is that good? Asked Sebastian. It's a good start, but you'll have to do better. Otherwise, no one will even notice that my hair is different. Sebastian tried again. This time he held the scissors as close to Sophie's head as possible. Snip, snip. A long strand of hair fell to the ground. Much better, said Sophie. Now just cut all over the place. That's what an artist would do. Sebastian kept cutting. He kept changing the angle of the scissors. Snip, snip, snip. Sophie's red hair twirled and floated through the air. This is just like when Dad cuts the bushes, said Sebastian. This is fun. You're doing great, said Sophie. She looked at herself in the mirror. That's good, she said. You can stop. Sophie's hair was much shorter now, but what was left stuck out in all directions. It looked a bit like a bird's nest, with twigs sticking out every which way. It's a work of art, said Sophie. But Sebastian said, It's not work, it's just art. He didn't know what art was, but it sounded important. Then Sophie grabbed Lucas's hair gel and rubbed some into her hair. She made the longer strands stick up like the points and ridges on the back of a dinosaur. That looks awesome, said Sebastian. Is it done now? Almost, said Sophie. I just have to add some highlights yet. She reached into her pocket and took out a black marker. I was going to use a yellow highlighter, she said, but I don't think you would notice it. Black is better. Then Sophie applied some streaks of highlighter. She scribbled in her hair like someone writing a fancy signature. When she was done, she said, Let's go show Mum. They found Mum doing the dishes. Mum was still on the phone. Hey, look at me, said Sophie. It took a moment before Mum heard what she was saying. She craned her neck to look at Sophie. As she turned, a number of things happened all at once. First, Mum's face took on a different shape, one that Sophie and Sebastian had never seen before. Her jaw dropped, her mouth opened wide, her eyebrows were doing gymnastics, and her eyeballs were so big they looked like they might pop out and roll away like marbles. Meanwhile, the phone, which had been firmly lodged between Mum's head and shoulders, discovered it was free to go. It started sliding, picked up speed, and fell with a splash into a bath of soap suds and dishes. Oh no, Sophie, said Mum. Sorry, Elisa, I have to go. Wait. Mum suddenly realized that Auntie Elisa couldn't hear her. She was probably sipping her coffee and listening to the peaceful sounds of rushing water. Oh no, shouted Mum. She fished the phone out of the sink. It's okay, said Sophie. It probably still works. Mum dried the phone and put it to her ear. Are you still there? Auntie Elisa was still there, and Mum said, Phew, you wouldn't believe what has just happened here. Then her face relaxed. She shook her head and smiled a little. She said, I guess we're having a wacky hair day. Sophie just cut her own hair. Do you like it, Mum? Asked Sophie. We can do yours too if you like. That's okay, said Mum. It's a bit too modern for me. Then Mum said goodbye to Auntie Elisa and took Sophie to the bathroom. She gave her a bath, washed and combed her hair. After that, she cut off some of the longer strands that were still left. In the end, Sophie's hair still looked a little funny. It was very short, and there were some strange gaps here and there. Oh well, said Mum, it will grow again, but next time you are not allowed to cut your own hair. That's okay, said Sophie. What she didn't say was that she knew someone who could do it for her. He had done it once before, and he was a real artist. His name was Sebastian, and when he wasn't really busy with his Lego, he was more than happy to cut a bit of hair, even without a lawnmower. Thanks for listening. If you've enjoyed this podcast, please share it with others and leave a comment or a review. Bye for now.